Welcome, Mr. Burchfield. Are there any new changes to the building this year?
We do have some new changes to the building this year. One change that you may notice just based on the time that we are setting up this interview and what we have coming in. If you guys remember correctly, we used to have cadet time kind of in the middle of the day. We still have cadet time, but I think you'll be happy to hear that we're doing it now at the end of the day. So from the student's perspective, if all they need to do is use it as a study hall to make sure that they don't have a ton of homework for the next day, then they know what they need to do because they've had all their classes already, okay? Another positive is for our 7th and 8th graders that are leaving early, such as our 7th grade volleyball team heading out for activities, they aren't missing core instruction time for that end of the day. So that's a small change. As you know, last year we brought in 6th grade to Riverbend Middle School for the first time in 14 years. And so this year a change is that we don't have 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade specific teachers. We basically have teachers who teach 6th grade and 2 sections of 7th grade, or 8th grade and 2 sections of 7th grade. So our 7th grade teachers are not their own. It's basically twice as many teachers teaching half as many classes, if that makes sense. And so we've kind of, if you will, pared down our number of teachers in the building. We have also added a high school math class that's taught here in the building. So Mr. Norum comes here in the morning, periods 2 and 3. And we've also made an interesting change where, because we don't have but one shared exploratory teacher, we have exploratory classes now for 7th and 8th grade at the end of the day. 8th grade is the last 2 periods of the day before cadet time. And so if you remember correctly, when you were here, it was always for 8th grade right there at the very beginning of the day. And so kind of some small changes, but some pretty significant ones too.
They all sound like good changes.
I think so.
And what are you looking forward to the most this year?
I love the idea of building a community within our building, and so I'm looking forward to that. One thing that really helps with that is next week, our homecoming week, and building some school spirit and pride that way. Making connections with that new group of students that comes in is always important, and so adding the 6th grade has been great for us here at Riverbend Middle School, so we can be consistent with those expectations for not just 2 years but for 3, and so continuing to work on those expectations for those 3 grade levels. If you can think that in the past we were really a transition building. Students would transition in 7th grade and they would transition out in 8th grade, and so now we are here for our students are here for those 3 years, which really gives us the opportunity to really build those connections and relationships, which are really important. And so those things, I mean, the activities that we have going on and that type of thing, students are already asking about that first dance coming up at the end of October and those types of things. And then one other thing that we are in the process of implementing, about a year behind where the high school is, but looking forward to the full-on implementation of standards-based grading and learning. And so going away from that emphasis on gathering points and maybe focusing more on really what is learned, and make sure that we can quantify that with the standards. And so we have implemented that in some of our classes already. Probably more than half of our classes right now, and again, we're maybe more than about a year behind where the high school is with that process, but we're still moving in the right direction.
All right. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Well, if I would have thought, I would have brought a special little saying for today and would have given you some words of wisdom, because if there's one last thing that I would add, I would just say, make it a great day, or not, the choice is yours.